Yo guys, we are back. I took a long vacation, and when I came back, I realized I had some audio issues on my PC. I literally can't hear audio when I edit or do anything for that matter, so I've decided to make these next few videos on the channel unscripted and unedited. So the quality won't be that good, but I'm still going to be making content because I have so many things I want to talk about, and Danganronpa Another Despair Academy is first on that list. So, first of all, why did I start playing Danganronpa Another? Well, I actually started with Danganronpa Another 2 before this one, because that was what was getting posted on YouTube. I couldn't really find any English dub videos of Danganronpa Another, English subtitles. So I started with Danganronpa Another 2 thinking that, okay, maybe you don't need the first one to see the events in Danganronpa Another 2. Suffice to say, I was very wrong. Once I got really into Danganronpa Another 2, like the later chapters, I realized, oh shoot, I screwed up. I needed to see the first one because there's a lot of things I'm missing out on right now. There's a lot of things I don't understand. And so I actually quit watching Danganronpa Another 2 midway through. And then, you know what? Someone made translations for both games, full translations, so that's good. So that's why I started playing Danganronpa Another 1. And getting into the game itself, the first Danganronpa Another does have a slow start. It starts kind of like Danganronpa 1, like Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. It kind of copies the start of that game. So everything you see here, you'll already have seen, from the mainline games. It's just the character introductions. It even copies Trigger Happy Havoc when it doesn't need to. Like, for example, with the character introductions, right? You all have them all in like one room, which Danganronpa 2 and V3 improved on that by having them like split up into different areas, so you can see the areas and meet characters at the same time. It makes it more concise because you get to do more things instead of having them all in this one area, then exploring all the rooms. That's a waste of time. Why would you do that? So, why doesn't the game just follow Danganronpa 2, for example? It could follow Danganronpa 2 on that point because Danganronpa 2 is stronger with how it introduces its characters, So it kind of copies Danganronpa 1 to a fault. It doesn't really need to do that. And even like the trial, the investigation, all the characters, you can see elements of the first Danganronpa game, and because of that, it's very predictable. Like, Mitch is going to be the first culprit because, come on, it's like a copy of Leon right there. But I don't think this is a bad thing. You see, I feel like Chapter 1 was just a test. You see, LINUJ has made, like, 2 Danganronpa fan games, which is insane. Because, like, I don't know, there's not a lot of Danganronpa fan games that have been made. And this guy has made, like, 2 of them. I don't even know any other completed fan games. That's saying a lot. So I think Danganronpa 1's first chapter was just a test to see if he could do anything. To see if he could make the trials, make the investigations, write the characters, put all the graphics together. Just see if he could do all of that, and that's what leads to Chapter 2. And from Chapter 2, you can see a big improvement. He's introducing his own unique ideas, his own unique character ideas. The trial, like the mystery itself, is completely different. It doesn't copy anything, really. And that was a strong chapter. Like, I looked at that and I was like, okay, I think I was right. Chapter 1 does just feel like a test chapter. Chapter 2, that's where the game really picks up, and it's a nice switch. Like, trust me, guys, you need to... Actually, I was about to say you need to play Chapter 2, but I'm assuming you've played the whole game. Because I've already spoiled, like, the first killer, right? So, I'm assuming you've played the whole game. That doesn't matter, but one of the biggest strengths of the game is how it pits its characters against each other. Like, the situation of the killing game keeps changing, and as a result, the characters have some people they hate and some people that they're friends with. It feels like the characters are constantly involved with what's going on, and it feels like there are many perspectives. For example, the characters get into fights, like what happened during the food shortage in Chapter 4. And at points, they team up to fight the mastermind, like what happens in Chapter 5, when Rei invites everyone over to her room. Another example is when the characters suspect Yuki of being the traitor. Yuki's feeling bad because all the people are scared to talk to him, but there are other characters like Rei who's not scared at all. And there are other people like Yuihara and Kinjo who are fine with talking to Yuki. So not everyone reacts in the same way, and that's very good. It's also good that the game changes the situation and doesn't drag it out for too long. Like after chapter 3, no one's suspecting Yuki of being the traitor because they found out who it was. So now they've gone back to being more friendly with Yuki, and until about like trial 5, where they change it up again. In trial 5, they're not ostracizing Yuki, but they do suspect him of being the true killer, which sends Yuki back into this fearful phase where he has to earn everyone's trust. So I feel like the diversity of the situations the characters are put in, and the diversity in how the characters react to these situations are a strong point in the game. If on the other hand, if I had to like choose the game's weak point, it's actually something I've touched on already. It's the lack of originality. It's just like a lot of the ideas are borrowed from DR1. That comes down to trials. I think out of all the chapters, the only ones that don't really feel like a copy in terms of trials are Trial 2 and Trial 6. Those are really the ones with unique ideas. The rest of them, I feel like if anyone wants to do this, I don't know, if you guys want to experiment, like go ahead and play the trials in Danganronpa Another 1, and go ahead and play the trials in Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. They're very similar in a lot of things they do. Like, I don't know, I'll give you an example. Trial 4, Teria's involvement. That is very similar to like what Hiro and Toko do in Chapter 4 of DR1. What's it called? Trial 3, Yuihara, getting the injury, and all these people being injured. That's like Trial 3 of Trigger Happy Havoc. And it's okay to take things here and there. I'm not saying don't borrow anything. You can borrow stuff, right? But I feel like Danganronpa Another borrowed way too much. And you can say, okay, it's a rehearsal for the 70th class. It makes sense why it's so similar. But then, not really, because, okay, you can have the motives be similar. That makes sense for a rehearsal. But that doesn't mean all these characters have to do the same things, Like, I remember in Chapter 4, Rei, she had, like, the exact same speech that Byakuya had, when he, like, rejected the killing game. It was, like, almost word for word the exact same thing, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Why is she just copying him, She can say something different here. She doesn't have to say the exact same thing. So, I think just, working on that originality, because when there were original ideas, they were good ideas. Like, I think, Chapter 2, that, I congratulate, Chapter 2 for its originality. I actually really like, the murder case in Chapter 2, so, LINUJ has those, unique ideas. He just needs to put them on the paper more instead of, looking, towards Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2 to get, inspiration. I think, if he just puts down a lot of his own ideas more, it would just make the game stronger. It'd feel like something different to what we already got. So I think that is one thing I can, tell him. One like piece of feedback I can give, because even with Super Danganronpa Another 2, I felt like it was copying a lot more than it needed to. But I will, get to that once I've played it, and I will tell you guys what I think. If I truly felt like it copied as much as Danganronpa Another 1, or if he improved on that in Super Danganronpa Another 2 and just put more of his own ideas in. In terms of gameplay, it's fine. Obviously, it's not like how it is in the main games. It's a bit different. I can see the struggles with implementing gameplay here. So I'm not gonna judge too much on that. Obviously, with like us English speakers, the Hangman Gambit kind of got screwed over because it was in Korean. I'm guessing, yeah, it's just way too hard to fix that or something. I don't know too much of how that works, but it's fine. Like, it's fine. I realize there will be struggles with getting the gameplay to work. As for like, I don't know, the gameplay itself, comic book is always fun, even though there's no penalties. I've never really liked Rebuttal Showdown, so I never liked that here either. So it follows the main games. Whatever I liked in the main games, I like here. Whatever I didn't, I just don't like here. The gameplay itself, like, it works fine. It works fine. You just have to get used to it. So I don't have much to say there. Characters. So there are, I guess the characters are mixed. Yeah, I'll say that they're mixed. There are some characters that just feel too bland. Like they just did not get enough screen time. Not enough like personality. Like not enough character interactions. Like some of the characters just don't change. I'll get to them more with my character ranking video. But likewise, there are good characters that go through a constant flux of emotions. Like they just don't stay like happy. They'll become happy. They'll get mad. They'll have moments where they're like depressed. Like so, there are good characters. There are characters that they interact differently with different characters. Like I always love that when you're like really pissed at this one character, but with this other character, you're more friendly. So it does have those good characters. I don't want to delve too much into the characters, as you can see. I'm kind of holding back because I want to talk about them for my character ranking video. And in terms of the story, it is quite interesting. Like I will say, it's not my type of story, but it is an interesting one. All the stuff going on with Utsuro and Akane. You see, I'm not really a big fan of Heavenly Luck, but the story they try to tell, it's a fun one, right? With you're basically on the evil team, in a sense. They do try to give some sympathy to the evil team, not too much. They hold back. They know that you can't be siding with these guys too much. I mean, they did kill like many people, right? But it's interesting that it's in the perspective of the bad guys. That I think was an interesting twist on things. And yeah, just seeing how all the characters were involved in it. It was a fun story, man. It was a fun story. In terms of pacing, pacing is mostly fine. I didn't have too many problems with it. I think some of the daily life sections went on for a bit too long, and I think the only chapter that had huge problems with pacing was chapter 4. I understand why chapter 4 took so long. You have the whole hunger situation, and with the hunger situation, you need quite a few days to really see the struggles that come with that situation. You need a lot of days, in fact. And you also have all these characters in their alternate outfits. I'm pretty sure they didn't want those to go to waste. I'm pretty sure they wanted you to see the characters with those alternate outfits on the screen for like a long period of time. I get that, but I just felt like it got too redundant and a bit too boring after a certain point. It just went on for way too long. And even like the trial section, I don't think that trial had to be as long as it was. It wasn't too complex. It wasn't too crazy. It really didn't have to be like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know how long it was, but I did feel like it just went on a bit too long. But overall, though, other than that, I feel like the pacing was fine. I think chapter 5 had good pacing. It was great. We were getting into the meat of the story, and they didn't like pad it out. They just were like, okay, let's go straight to the point. We're gonna have this quick-paced trial, a quick-paced investigation, quick-paced daily life. We're just heading in to that final chapter. We're setting everything up. That was so fun. Like just that quick pace. That's what I like. I don't like when there's time wasting. That doesn't mean just solve the case as fast as possible. Your time can be devoted to characters, the story, whatever. It just has to be a fun time. Just set up plot points. Do something with that time. Just do something with that time, and I'm good. So the pacing, overall, I'd say it's good. And finally, last question. But is this better than the mainline Danganronpa games? For me personally, no. I don't even think it's that close. But I don't really expect this to be, on the same tier as those games. Like, why would I? It's a fan game, right? The mainline games, they have this like insane staff. Like, they're experienced in writing, they're experienced with the presentation. Why should fan games, like, why would I expect fan games to be better? Like, obviously they could, and if they do, that's hella impressive. Danganronpa Another Despair Academy is hella impressive on its own. But, you know, that doesn't mean it needs to be better than the mainline games. And I personally just don't feel like it is. It's a good game. The fact that I could sit down and play this and finish it, that alone tells me that, yeah, you know, I had fun playing this. Because if I didn't have fun playing this, I probably would have stopped midway through. But I kept playing for all 6 chapters, and I finished it and I was like, yeah, you know, I like that experience. Was it my favorite game? No, right? It wasn't my favorite Danganronpa game. Not at all, but I had fun playing it throughout. Were there times I got bored? Yes. But the overall experience, I was like, yeah, you know, I enjoyed this. Man. And it's really impressive what LINUJ could do in such a short amount of time. I don't know how long he took to make this game, but, I mean, he made a fan game. He made 2 fan games. So it's insane that he just made this in such a short amount of time. That alone is a crazy achievement, just making a fan game for everyone to play. And I'm already seeing the impact that this fan game has on people. I think the second game seems to be more impactful, but even this one, like, you know, sometimes I scroll through Reddit, I see on Danganronpa Reddits, these characters are already being known. Like these Danganronpa Another characters, they're making their way, you know, to reach the mainline characters in terms of like popularity, in terms of how many people know them. So it's actually insane how much reach this game and its sequel has. And I can't wait to play the sequel. I'm excited to see how that game ends. Obviously, I've watched most of it, but I want to give it another chance with the knowledge I have of Danganronpa Another 1. And I feel like it would be a better experience because now I have context. And oh boy, I already have more knowledge about, you know, the stuff I was confused about. I already remember what I was confused about and can remember why I was confused about it. And now I realize, oh, that's what this was, you know, like just by playing the first game. So I'm pumped to get into the second Danganronpa Another game. But yeah, that's my general review of the game. I have a trial video coming up. I have a character video coming up, a character ranking video. And that's all I have to say. So take care and goodbye.